It's showtime. Okay, I somehow or another managed to mess things up already, but we'll go with that. This is a question. This is to be a demo of supposedly hexadecimal colors, but we got to get something to color first. And I thought, why not make pentagon art? Since we've seen squares and rectangles and circles, we haven't seen any pentagons. So I'm going to make some pentagons, ideally, hopefully, and then we'll see how to do hexadecimal colors to color them in. I already got this much. Let me double check and make sure. Width and height symbolic constants. So I can parameterize stuff on the symbolic constants, including the graphics window, which I'm just calling W because that's real short and easy to type. And my label is Pentagon Art, and then the mouse click will make it stop. Run module. And there it is. It says Pentagon Art, and it's a nice big drawing space. It just doesn't have anything in it yet. Okay. If we're going to let the user just start clicking the mouse all over the place and click 5 points, we'll let him click any 5 points and then make a pentagon with that. How do we even start? I've already got the graphics window. So what do we do now that we've even started? That's a better question. Think of it this way. Pentagon's just like a triangle, except it's got 5 points instead of 3. How are you going to draw triangles on the screen? Polygon? We will have to use a polygon. As far as I know, I'll look, but I don't think there is a pentagon object. I'm pretty sure there's not.
How do you get the graphics thing to be import properly? Because whenever I try to do it, it says that it doesn't exist.
It doesn't. You have to do this. See this file right here, graphics.py. This is optional. You've got a paper copy of that, the PDF. But the PY has to be in exactly the same folder as the program that you're running that tries to use graphics. It's not going to look anywhere except the folder that you have your source code in. So that's what I've got there. And oh, so many little active icons here. So when you say from graphics import star, this ex.py is in my examples folder on my hard drive, but so is my graphics.py file. And you can copy, you don't have to move it, you can copy it all over the place. It's not a very big file. So we got to get some points. Get 5 points from, this is a plan, from user, mouse, USE clicked. Okay, so this is in the way now. I've already got this open. Look at the GraphWin, let's see, look at the GraphWin object. We got that. Get mouse. If you haven't looked at this graphics yet and you're working on project 3, look at what get mouse will do. Pauses for user to click a mouse in the window and returns where the mouse was clicked as a point object. We've only been using officially the first half of that. Pauses in the window. Here's the part we need now. Returns where the mouse was clicked as a point object. Remember, objects are package deals. They have attributes inside them and methods inside them and everything. So even though a point's not very complicated, it does have stuff hidden inside it. Especially important to us are the X and Y coordinates. So we can get a point object just by getting wherever the mouse was clicked. So I'm going to do them like list indices and say P0 equals, and how do we do that again? Window object dot get mouse. Well, I don't have much option here. I've only got one window. Oops. I've only got one window object W dot get mouse camel cased. That should get me the first point. And I'll see if that does anything. I'm going to try to remember to run as often as possible. Run, run, run. Well, I click the mouse, and I click it again, the window disappears. I don't know whether it's got my point or not. How can I see whether or not it actually stored the place where I clicked the mouse? How can I make that show up on the screen? Draw it. Draw it. So here was the get mouse. But get mouse is a method on graph windows. That's not a method for graphics objects or points or anything. Here's point. We can make a point, but we already got a point. We got that from the mouse click. We can get the X, we can get the Y. We're going to have to look at graphics objects to make it show up. Which one of these do we need to make that point actually show up? Fed width? No. Undraw? No. That's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. What do we want to do? We want to draw it, and to draw it, we've got to give the point object name first. That's the object we want to have draw itself. And then draw inside some graphics window. We don't have a lot of choice. We've only got one graphics window. So I'm going to say P0 dot draw yourself, and do that in the one and only window that we have. We'll see if that works any better. Run module. Okay. I'm going to click right here. Ooh, that's tiny. You might not be able to see it, but you can take my word for it. There's a point right there. Can you see it? Yes? Okay. We'll pretend you can, whether you can or not. I wonder where that was. How can I find out where that point object was on my graphics window? I can do the get X, get Y, right? I could go to all the trouble of getting X and getting Y and turning that into a text object, but I'm going to do the lazy way. I'm going to get the X and Y and then just print those out to the console window. The console window, also called the runtime window, is where all the prints, just the plain old prints go, and it's where all the eval inputs and all the inputs read from. So that window is still there. We're just not using it much. So I'm going to do these two things. P0.getX. And you just spelled get correctly. There was an error waiting to happen. I think I've still got the, no, I don't. Here's point objects. Get X will give me the X value on a point. P0 dot get Y, give me the Y. And I'll just print out what they are. Print your points. This is coords, C-O-O-R-D-S, X, colon. Now, this will get the X value. How do I print it out? Get X. What did they do differently than what I did? Here's their example. A value equals a point dot get X. How's that different from my P0 dot get X? You will want to store, when you go searching for X and Y coordinates of points where the user clicked, you want to store those and all the strange and wonderful variables that we came up with our own personal convention for. There are all kinds of X and Y coordinate variables to store these in. I'll call this one P0X. Why not? P0X, P0Y. Now, if I wanted to parameterize other points based on that, do a reflection of that point or whatever I wanted to do, I now have those coordinates stored. From one call to get X, I get the X coordinate. From one call to get Y, I get the Y coordinate. Now I've got those stored for all eternity throughout the rest of the program whenever I need them, including just to print them out to the screen. Your point's X coordinates, us P0X is the X coordinate. And Y, because, and we've got P0Y. If things behave as advertised, I should get a graphics window, and then it should print out the coordinates of where I click the mouse on my runtime window. Run module. Okay. Okay, now did you see what happened here? It opened the runtime window first, then it opened the graphics window. If I click about, I don't know, right here, does anybody want to speculate approximately what coordinates those are? For review, let me see, back for review. Where's my editor window? I lost it. Buried in here somewhere. There. It's 1200 across and 600 down. That was a mistake. Now I got to get the graphics window back. I know you're hiding back in there somewhere. Not you. There you are. 1200 by 600. What's that point right there, do you think? Over 250 and down 150. Well, there's the point. Drum roll. Let's see. It should have printed on the console. Man, there's too many windows open here. How about 316, 168? You were close. It's 316 over and 168. But more importantly, aside from all the fun and guessing games, does everybody see what the 316 represents and where it came from, and what the 168 represents and where it came from? We ask the point object that the user clicked on the screen. We ask the point object, what is your x coordinate, what is your y coordinate, and we stored those in case we need to do math with them later. Now that we know that we can do that, I'm never going to do that again. I need to get other points. P1 equals another mouse click. W, get mouse. So, why didn't I take a typing class in high school? Why? That's not right. I'll draw all the points there. Draw in W. And the others are going to be about the same. Let me see. Does the Control C work to copy here? I'm about to find out. Control C. If that worked, then I can Control V my way to. Yes, okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is all I need for a pentagon. So here we go. 2, 2, 3, 3.
I think that one should be 1, right? The 2. You usually have a 0.
You're right. 2. I was going to run out of numbers before I got there. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And that's all. Is that all I need? How come we don't go up to P5? It's a pentagon, 5 sides. Military-industrial complex. Because we started counting as 0. It was such a dumb question you didn't feel the need to answer. Okay, let me see if it'll draw my points. Run module. Yes, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. It's a pentagon constellation that you can barely see. And click and it goes away. Okay. Now then, now that I got my 5 points, how do I make a pentagon? Look at my handy dandy graphics reference. There's graphics object, there's point, there's line. I guess I could do a bunch of lines and draw a pentagon by hand, so to speak. That's probably not going to be a good idea. I could draw a pentagon with just lines. The problem with that, if I do that, the graphics library is not going to be aware I want that to be an object, a graphics object, and it's not going to let me do things like set fill and so forth. So I would not be able to go past the pentagon that was strictly drawn with lines. Oh no. Circle? No, pentagons are not circles. They're almost rectangles, except they got an extra side. Oval, no. Polygon, text. We're running out of objects. Entry, I don't think so. Does anybody have any ideas about what we could do to draw a pentagon?
Polygon.
How about polygon? Polygon constructs a polygon, which just means it's a figure that's not made with curved edges, it's made with line segments, some number of line segments. A triangle is a polygon. A rectangle, we could actually use polygon to draw rectangles if we wanted to, or zombices, or rhombuses, or whatever. Construct a polygon with the given points as vertices, and it says a polygon equals, and you just list the points. I hate that they do that. I've already got the points. I don't have to construct new point objects. So I'm going to say polygon, P-O-L-Y-I. No, it's not polygon. We're more specific. Pentagon. There we go. Pentagon equals, and this will be a pentagon object that's a polygon. That's where polygon comes in. And I just list my points. P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, and voila. Now I should see a polygon, right? Yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No! Well, it's still turning out coordinates over here, so that's okay. What's wrong? Does polygon not work for this graphics library? You gotta draw it. You always gotta remember that Mother May I step. After all the trouble you go to, you make a thing, you color it in, you color the outline, you make it thick, whatever. You still got to draw it in the graphics window, which I call the Mother May I step. W.draw Pentagon, P-E-N-T-A-G-O-N. Will that do it? I heard a faint no. Back up your faint no. Will this work? Run module.
Do the window thing.
Got to do the. I've got the window there, didn't I? Didn't I put the window there?
Or like in front.
We're stuck. Red paragraph of death. Graph when object has no attribute draw. Why won't it let me draw on my window W? Make sure that you call the method on the right object. The window has already drawn itself. It doesn't need to draw itself, and it's certainly not going to draw itself inside a pentagon. Okay? The pentagon object that I made, that's what needs to draw itself. Silly me. And double checking over here. The draw method, use your PDF a lot. The paper version is probably handier. Graphics objects, all the set stuff. Draw the object inside some graphics window. So that goes inside there. That was an honest mistake. Except my biggest mistake was not that I used the window in the wrong place, pentagon in the wrong place. The biggest mistake was, if I wasn't sure how to do it, I need to look at the reference materials. This project, much more so than project 2, is look at the graphics library, look at the example programs. I don't expect anyone to go to the lab empty-handed and be able to sit down and type in project 3. If you do, I want to know about it. I mean, you would be an intimidating, scary genius to me. But that's not what this is about. This is getting used to, familiar with, able to track down what you don't know in the reference materials that you have available. And we're going to be doing that on steroids in just a second if I ever get this pentagon to draw itself, for crying out loud. Run module. Please, oh please. 1, 2. Did I get it? No, it's okay. Oh, it's home base. From the umpire's point of view or something like that. No, that's off to the side, isn't it? Well, umpires can't see very well. And I didn't even get a red paragraph of death. I'll make that window go away so it'll be fresh next time. You know what? While I'm at it, I want that line to show up better. How do I make it thicker? How do I make my pentagon thicker? It's a graphics object. Set outline. That won't make it thicker. Set width, and then some number of pixels. And I'm going to make this a darn thick pentagon. Set width. W? No, what does it want in parentheses? It wants some number of pixels, and they use set width 3. That's not enough for me. I'm going to do set width 20. That is going to be one hardcore heavy-duty pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. I bet you can even see that in the back of the room. Nice. Question so far? Now, the demo is not only hex colors, but it's kind of how can we do the same thing over and over and yet change colors? Let's get the over and over part first. How do you do something over and over? If else? If else is a one-way trip no matter what. We have 2 choices for the over and over part. What are the 2 choices that I have in mind? Read my mind. I'll send out strong brain waves. The for loop and the while loop. Let's say that I want to do exactly 3. That's enough to demo. I want to do exactly 3 pentagons. Do I want to use a for loop or a while loop in general for something like that? A for loop. If I know 3 times, and where does the pentagon drawing start? It looks like this chunk right here. That's all the pentagon business. So, where's the cursor? You know, something about this new version of Windows, you lose the cursor on the screen. You can't get it back where you thought. So I claim. For, it's a golf command, isn't it? For, it's also a birthday song. For he's a jolly good fellow. That's not how we loop. How do I loop 3 times? Someone can tell me, I know.
For I
Thank you.
range.
Careful.
For
For I range what?
3. In brackets. For
Is everybody okay with that? This is your probably the only opportunity you're going to get this entire semester to correct Mr. Tatterson.
I in.
For I in range 3. Oh, the public humiliation. That's what you meant. You did that on purpose to see if the rest of the class was paying attention, right? I knew it. Now, here we go. Run module. After every step. What? Inspected and indented block after 4 on line 22.
Not indented.
Oh no! I've got to type in all of that all over again. Unless I don't. Let's see. How much needs to be repeated over and over? That gets the 5 points. Watch this. Some of you, I know I've already seen this. I've looked at it and pointed at it over your shoulder. Format can do all kinds of things. I can turn that into comments, for example. Comments. No, I actually wanted to do it uncomment region. How about indent? Look at that. Now I've got stuff that will execute 3 times. All of this gunk ideally will allow me to draw 3 pentagons. Run module. Okay. Pentagon 1, Pentagon 2, Pentagon 3. They'll overlap. There we are. Now, if that's not art, I don't know what is. It's just a little bit brutalist. It needs to have some color. We've got to add some color there. And it's still showing me the coordinates, even though I don't really care anymore. How, in general, do we set colors to things and outlines to things? Set fill. If you've got this graphics object stuff semi-memorized, you might remember set fill with the color. Set fill. So after I make the polygon, set width, right before I draw, I'll do a set fill, pentagon. Set fill. And what am I in the mood for? Kind of blue. Just to make sure I got the set fill set up correctly. On a quick run, just make sure. Yikes, that is a dark blue. But still, we still have art. We haven't broken the art yet. If I recall correctly, we had a loop early on that did stuff for SEC East teams inside a loop, but it used a different SEC team every time it went through the loop. And my question for you is, how did we do that? Does anybody remember? We need like a list. Let's get like a list. I'm going to make the list symbolic constants up here. You can have a list that's symbolic constant. Fill colors equals like a list. Blue, I'll stick with blue. I want the next one to be green. And blue and green make yellow. Not, but I'll put it in there anyway. There's a list. Will that do it? If I do that now, all I've got so far is a brand new symbolic constant that's actually a list of 3 colors. How can I make that? What do I want this to be the first time I go through? Fill colors. Can't do that. It doesn't want to list, the set fill doesn't want to list the colors. It wants one color. When the first time I go through the loop, I want it to be what? Fill color number, what's the index number of the first thing in this list? 0. So first time we go through, we want it to be 0. Let's see what that does. Run module. Okay. That window, why don't you go back to where I put you before? There's the first color. There's the first color again. Well, that doesn't look very much different from the last time. Because it isn't. What's wrong with this picture? Why did it use blue every time I went through the loop when I've got 3 different colors up here?
In range.
I need to change the color every time I go through the loop. Now think about this real hard, concentrate. The first time I go through, I want it to use color number 0. The next time I go through, I want it to use color number 1. The third and last time it goes through, I want it to use color number 2. So somehow or another, I need this 0 to change from a 0 the first time to a 1 the next time to a 2 the next time. Can you think of anything at all on this multicolor screen of source code that's going to do that? That's going to change from 0 to 1 to 2. Is there anything that we have that's already doing that? The index, this index, when we say for I in range 3, remember, you know what? I am going to do that in case you don't remember. Range 3 is a library method, a library function that returns this object, 0, 1, 2, with square brackets. That is exactly the same as for I in range 3. It's more explicit and clear now, I hope. The first time it goes through, I is the first thing in the list, it's 0. Next time through the loop, I is the second thing in the list, I is equal to 1. Third and last time, I will be equal to 2, and notice, that's going to change which list element we're using as a fill color every time we go through the list. Run module. Ooh, I like that. Yes, art. Art, ladies and gentlemen. Did everybody see what happened? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Tip server. Gesundheit. Who has a question about what we've got there so far? If you really seriously, deeply understand this well, then you'll be able to answer this question. All this is trivial. How can we change the outline color every time we go through? Not just the fill color, but also the surrounding outline that's surrounding the fill color. How can we do that? Kind of the same way. We'll need a list of colors up here. Outline colors. O-U-T-L-I-N-E, underline. C-O-L-O-R-S equals. Come on, can't see. I think it knows the light versions, doesn't it? We use light blue in Lab 10. So I'm just going to use the light of each one. Light blue. Light green. I don't know if it knows light yellow or not. I guess we'll find out, won't we? That might be a stretch. How do we get it to use those? Come on. Professor? Okay, there we go. How do we get it to use those outline colors to change the outline color every time we go through the loop to something different? Set outline. If you look at your graphics manual over here, there's the set width, set fill, set outline, set the outline color to whatever you specify. And you're right, we do this exactly the same way as we did before. Pentagon dot set outline. And you'll notice these symbolic constant names are no accident. I named them to represent exactly what they serve the purpose for in the program. O-U-T-L-I-N-E, line. O-U-T-L-I-N-E, colors. Bye. It should also change every time we go through the loop. Run module. Wow, this is getting prettier all the time. That almost looks like it. That looks like it's outlined in neon, doesn't it? Cool. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. It didn't. It knows what light yellow is. At this point, it would probably be best for me to declare victory and retreat. But I'm getting a little bored being limited, excuse me, to just this tiny list of possible color names that Python knows. I want to set myself free, but I can't do that if I can't see how to get to Google. Wake up, Google. Okay, here we go. Well, were there any questions about what I did to get different colors each time and different outlines each time? Is everybody good to go on that? How much time we have left? Not a whole lot. I told you to do this Google search. Hexadecimal, CEIMAL, colors. I wonder if there are any web pages about hexadecimal colors. How about 172 million? Yeah, that should do it. Color picker, that sounds fun. Color picker, you can choose any of these. Look at this. If you remember from class, I said that each color, each hexadecimal color that we specified is 24 bits, of course, but it has a red intensity, a green intensity, and a blue intensity. Look how knowledgeable you are. Look at that hexadecimal value. Which component is prominent, the red or the green or the blue? The red is maxed out. Red is FF 5733 and change. So, oh my goodness, there are all these colors. You know what? I'm going to get ballpark ideas and then just kind of wing it. These all three have FFs in the middle, so it looks like the greenish blues have FFs in the middle. You know what you got to do? You see how they type this color here? In Python and in most languages that you can use on the web, the way you signal, here comes a hexadecimal number, is you put a pound sign. It's unfortunate that Python uses that for the comment because that is the standard way to represent a hexadecimal value in most, like I said, web-based languages. So pound FF5733 if I wanted to do red. I don't want to do red. Red's kind of scary and alarming to me. So get that out of the way and get over here. I'm going to do, instead of blue, I'm going to do a hexadecimal color that's, what did I say, mostly green, pound sign, 33FF44. What color is that? I don't know. When I run it, it will use that as a color and fill it in, and if I don't like it because it's ugly, then I can change it. This is trial and error on steroids here. How about, okay, I'll do red. So we'll see whether or not the red, green, and blue puts its money where its mouth is. So I'll max out the red, and a little bit of green, and no blue. Red and green, I wonder what that makes. Then over here, I should be choosing them. I should be looking online, but it's just quicker to make up colors and see what they look like. This one will be 3333FF. So ideally, if this works as advertised, red, green, blue, there should be mostly a green color, mostly a red color, and then mostly a blue color. And you know what? I was so impressed by my creative choice to do lighter color outlines that I'm going to do roughly half of each one and see if that comes up with a roughly half of 3 is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and half of 15 is 7 approximately. Light green. Using the same halvesies, 771100. I have no idea what this is going to look like, by the way. And then this one, 117722. Is everybody okay with that? I wonder what it will do. What do you suppose it will do? Probably crash. We'll just run it. A controlled crash. I think it'll crash. I bet it will crash. Let's see if it crashes. Oops. When your screen freezes like that, your graphics won't do it. Major problem. Oh, you know what? I consider that an accomplishment. That is a huge red paragraph of death. Unknown color name 117722. Why doesn't it understand my hexadecimal color? Yes, that's your cue. Got to have the pound sign to say, I know this is a string, but inside my string, I want you to interpret this as a hexadecimal value. And of course, if I broke anything else by doing that, I meant to do that, see if you're paying attention. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not lighter. Oh, if I cut it in half, it doesn't get lighter. It's less bright, so it's darker. Silly me. But there's green surrounded by dark green. There's a red surrounded by dark red. And as you know, I'm going to say, I meant to do that. No, the colors, you can get colors that you like, designer colors, trial and error, just using approximate values for red, green, blue. And no red paragraph of death on that one. Those are coordinates that we were printing out before. I think that probably finishes all the new Python stuff you need to know for Project 3. Unless you have questions and you want me to do something else. Are there questions? Ask now or it won't be on the YouTube video that I post later. Here's the deal. I am going to post this video on YouTube, but I'm not going to put this source code on Canvas. I've had some bad luck with that so far. When I put programs on there, some students think that they can just copy and paste and everything is great to include it. And this is not usable in Project 3 as is. But, you know, if you really wanted to look back at it as a reference, then there's a screenshot for you on YouTube. There's a screenshot for you on YouTube. The video will be on YouTube. You'll just have to type in the code yourself if you want to use it. Life is hard. First world problems. Any questions at this point right now? Okay. If I could find the place where I could turn off the recording, I would do that. And it's off the bottom of this. There. No. Here it is. There it is. Where it is. No, there it is. I spy. That's it. See you online.